Welcome back to another HTML tutorial with PixMWeb. In today's episode, we're going to go over the metadata that belongs inside your head tags. As mentioned in the previous episode, we need to put some more tags with some more information inside your head tags, so that way we can properly structure your website with the proper meta tags, meta descriptions, links to other documents within your website, like your CSS documents and your JavaScript documents and things of that nature. So let's move on first. The first one we went over was your title tag, and we mentioned that this one is what gives the actual web page a name. So each web page that you have will have a different title tag because each page will be named differently. So besides the head tag, you're going to have your style tags, your meta tags, your link tags, script tags, etc. So one of the first things you're going to want to do first is actually you're going to probably want to specify a language for your page. And you can do so in the HTML tag. In the opening one, you can put this attribute in there. It's the lang equals quotation marks en dash us quotation marks, and then of course the closing greater than sign. So what this does, it provides the language type for the HTML document. So if you're in the US, this is the tag you would use. If you're in another part of the world, you would use the associated tag for that part of the world. So you want to do that. It's very important for accessibility applications, screen readers, and search engines. Then besides that, you're going to want to include your style sheet. So we're going to go further into CSS in much later on in the tutorial, but for now I'm just going to show you how to link your style sheet into your document. So the first thing you want to do is the lesser than sign, and then you're going to put link with a space, and then val for a relationship equals, and then you can put the name of it, style sheet, and then outside that equal sign you're going to give it a space, and then you're going to give it the link attribute itself. So it's href equals, and then we'll just give it a name of style.css, and then you're going to want to close off. So this link tag here is a self-closing tag. So what that means is, unlike the title tag, the head tag, the HTML tag, body tag, paragraph tag, and H1 tags, you don't need to have a closing tag because it self-closes. And you're gonna, in the beginning, this might get a little confusing, but over time, this will become second nature to you. So don't worry about it right now. But for now, the link tag, this particular link tag is linking to an external style sheet that's saved inside your HTML folder. We'll create that much later on in the tutorial. And that allows the search engine, the browser, to place the styling that goes with the web page onto that page, and it calls the code from that external style sheet. So HTML is the markup of a web page, and then the CSS is the style of a web page, how you beautify a web page and make it actually look good. And then there's JavaScript, so you would use a link tag to link in your JavaScript as well, or you can put the JavaScript inside some script tags in your head section as well. So the next thing you're going to want to put in there is your meta description. So we're going to put in a meta tag. So we're going to do the lesser than sign, meta, and then you're going to call it, give it the name with an equal sign, quotation mark, and then we're going to say description. So this is important because what this does, it allows for the search engine to know what that particular page is about. And this shows up in the search engine results page of Google, Bing, etc. So you're going to want to be specific here. So you could put, you have to put the content, and then you could put this web page is about HTML. So you're going to put it in that manner. After the closing quotation mark, you're going to close that meta tag with the greater than sign. So this is another self-closing tag. Typically, your meta description, as this is called, should be about 150 characters, 155 characters or so. That's the limit that'll be displayed on a search engine result page. So you're going to want to make this descriptive. You want to have it with the basics of what the actual web page is about. So since I put this web page is about HTML, you will learn how to design websites in this tutorial. All right, so that's the description I'm putting in. All right, so if we save that, and then if we go back in and we refresh, let's see what happens. Nothing happens because the meta information inside your head tags is not typically displayed on the front end of a web page. But if you right click on your mouse and you view page source, you're going to see the information up here. You can do this with every single web page out there. You can just right click and view the page source, and you'll see the markup for it. So you see the meta name description, and this is what the search engine browser is going to see. So that's why it's important to have it there. All right, so now we have our inside of our head tags. You have your title tags, you have your link tag to your style sheet, and now you have your first meta description, your first meta tag there. So now there's more meta tags you can put. So the next one is not really used nowadays anymore. It used to be used for and by the search engines, but it is not really used nowadays because the search engines, found it to be kind of spammy and stuff like that. But you can still use it if you want, which are HTML meta keywords for a website. So with the in the meta keywords, you will use the meta name equals and then the opening and closing quotation marks, and then you would have keywords tag in there, and then you would have content equals opening closing quotation marks, and then you could put in this section the main keywords. So HTML, and I'm going to put HTML5, and then you'll just comma separate them. Or maybe you'll put an HTML also. And then web design, etc. So those are the keywords we're going to use. Again, this is not displayed by the browser on the front end, but if you right click and then view page source, you see the keywords are noted there. So that's the meta description and meta keywords. So after that, you're going to want to define a character set. So you can put another meta tag, and then this one, you're just going to give it a thing of character set. Now the character set's important. I'm not going to go into too much details about it, but you're just going to want to have this on your web page. And the reason why is because it gives further information on your web page and how it should be displayed and function and things of that nature. So you're just going to want to have that on your web page. So that is your third meta tag. So then you're going to want to probably have your name associated with that as the author of the website or web page. So you can use the another meta tag, name equals, and then you have to put author and content equals, and then you just put your name, and then you just close it off. So these are the meta tags that you would put in there. You have your description, your keywords, your character set, the author, stuff like that. You can also put, like I mentioned earlier, you can put JavaScript in there. You can put actual styles in the actual web page directly. So if you want to do that, you would just open up a style tag, and then in this one you would close off the style tag, and here you would put, you know, the style that you want to do. So I'm going to give you a very brief thing on styling. So you would, if you're putting style directly into the web page, you can do so in the head section. We're just going to say background, and then we're going to give it a color of like a dark gray. We're going to save that. Now what happens here? So we're going to go back, refresh. See, it changed the color. Now typically you wouldn't want your styles to be in the head section of a web page because it's not really efficient. It's better to have it in an external style sheet and link to, so that way if you need to change the style of your website, you don't need to go into every single page that you create. You could just go into that one file that's linked to by the various other web pages and update that one page, and it'll update your whole entire website. So it's a lot more efficient to do it that way. But this is an option if you wanted to do something very specific to a page that might not generally be found elsewhere. You can change the color to something else. These are just hexadecimal values that we're using, and now you see it changes that. Now if you want to change the font, we can do color for the font, and we're going to choose white. So we'll just turn this back to dark gray so we can see the results. And now you see you change the color of the background and the color of the text. There's a lot of things that you can do with CSS, and when we go further into the tutorial, we'll talk more about that. But for now, this is the way to include some styling into the head section of your web page. If you want to include some JavaScript, you can do so with opening and closing script tags. And then you can put your JavaScript in here as well. Typically, again, it's most likely beneficial to include your JavaScript in an external file, so that way it'll be included in all your web pages that you need it. But there's some times that you would want to include it on a specific page, either at the top or at the bottom. So very specific reasons for each, and when we go into JavaScript itself, I'll give you some more examples of where to place it, when to place it, things of that nature. But for now, this is just the basics of what you need inside of a of your head section of your HTML document. So we have inside the opening and closing head tags, you have your title tag, you have your link to your style sheet. If you want to link to your JavaScript page as well, you can do so with another link tag. You can link to as many style sheets as you want, with a different name, of course, for each style sheet. But it's generally beneficial to limit the amount of style sheets and external resources you do link to, because it does slow down your page time. Then you have your meta description, your meta keywords, your character set, your author, meta tag. You can put some styles inside the head section. You can put your JavaScript inside the head section, and you'll also find some other elements inside the head section that can be related to Twitter, Facebook, things of that nature. So this is just a brief overview of some of the elements that you can put inside of your head section of your HTML document that's beneficial for search engines and for users when your information is found online, things of that nature. So again, in this tutorial we covered some of the metadata that is found inside the head section of your HTML document. As we go further into the tutorial series, you're going to find that there's even more tags that you can place in there, and you're going to learn why certain tags are placed in there and why some are becoming obsolete as newer versions of HTML come out and newer algorithm changes by Google, Bing, and all the search engines that exist. So hopefully you found this tutorial helpful. And just to give you a quick recap, we learned about the meta tags. Some of them are self-closing, like the meta tag itself is a self-closing tag. The link tag is a self-closing tag, but the style tag is not self-closing. You do need an opening and closing style tag, and same thing for the script tag. You need an opening and closing script tag. So we covered the reasons why you would want some of these meta data pieces inside of your head section, and in the next tutorial we'll go further into building up the structure and the skeleton of your web pages. So if you have any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe, because we'll be giving you even more information about how to create websites, starting off with HTML, graduating to CSS, then JavaScript, PHP, and MySQL. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.